Hi guys, I'm here with you another story, true story, out of my Dreams and Miracles book by Anne Spangler. The story today that I'm going to read to you guys is by Gordon Bellcase, and it's entitled Turned Back. Now I'll start off by reading you the introduction. Gordon Bellcase hadn't seen his family in more than a year. He couldn't wait to get home, but shortly after beginning the 17-hour drive, he sensed the presence of an invisible wall just outside the city wall of Texas. Unable to shake the feeling that he should change course, he turned around and drove to the home of a nearby friend, who startled him with the story of a dream from which she had just awakened. So now we'll get into the story. Tossed my canvas duffel bag into the trunk of my '61 Ford Galaxy and slammed the lid shut. Cash in my pocket, a couple weeks leave in a low-mileage car that ran like a top. Nothing was going to keep me from getting home to Mobile. It was 1962, an Airman First Class E-4 stationed at Goodfellow Air Force Base in San Angelo, Texas. I hadn't seen my family and friends back home for more than a year. My duty demanded most of my time and left little allowance for the 17-hour drive each way, to say nothing of the visiting. But I had saved up my leave, and now I was going to use it. I'll drive all night, I told my mom the day before, so I'll see you all in the morning. She said she'd count on me being at the table for a big country breakfast. The engine purred as I rolled past the guardhouse and through the gates of Goodfellow. My Ford sounded as happy to be on the road as I was. Wall, Texas could be the first town I'd hit on the drive east, with its clusters of houses, one grocery store, and a matchbox post office. It was a stretch to call it a town. Still driving through Wall would be the first real sign that the base was behind me and my Alabama home ahead. 15 miles went by in a snap, and Wall was just around the bend when a strange feeling took hold of me. I eased up on the gas and turned down the radio. The closer I came to Wall, the stronger the feeling became. It was unmistakable. Something was telling me to turn around and head back to San Angelo. Was it some sort of warning? The open highway beckoned before me. The sky above was clear. The car was running like a dream. I checked my rearview mirror. I was alone on the road. This is ridiculous, I thought. I have permission to leave, a full tank of gas, and I'm homesick as a lost dog. I'm going to Mobile. Ignoring the warning, I kept a slow but steady pace as I neared Wall. But a mile or so from the edge of town, I found it almost impossible to go on. I eased my foot off the accelerator and let the car coast. This was no sixth sense. This was a to-the-bone reaction to a silent someone insisting I turn back. It was as though an invisible wall had been built across the highway, a wall as impenetrable as if it had been made of brick. There was no way I could drive any farther. My foot fumbled for the brake. I stopped the car and sat there in the middle of the road for a moment. Up ahead, I could barely make out the sparse Wall community. The urge squeezed tighter. Shaken, I made a sweeping U-turn and reluctantly drove back toward San Angelo. What else could I do? Retracing my route, I was pretty worked up. There was no way I was going back to the base. I just wanted to sit down, clear my head, and relax. The Slingers' cozy and comfortable home instantly popped into mind. I had dated Linda Slinger a few times, and her family and I had attended the same church. Linda was off at school, but I knew her mother, Alma. would be good for a cup of coffee and a slice of whatever she had just pulled from the oven. I decided to drop by. Alma was a strong woman of faith, and I knew I could trust her. Of all people, not to think I was crazy when I told her what had just happened. To my surprise, Alma burst into tears at the sight of me. "Oh, Gordon," she said, throwing her arms around my shoulders, "you don't know how relieved I am to see you." Before I had a chance to ask her what was wrong, much less tell her what had brought me back to San Angelo, she told me the most chilling story I had ever heard. She hadn't been feeling well and had laid down for a nap, and she was scared awake by a dream. It was so sharp, so real, Alma said. "I dreamed you had a horrible head-on collision with another car, right over in Wall. I saw the ambulance lights spinning and the paramedics pulling your body from the wreck and putting you on a stretcher. Then I woke up crying, just minutes before you knocked on the door." Eventually, I did make it back to Mobile safe and sound. This time I sailed through Wall. God's angels had disabled the barrier they'd built for my protection. I'd had to wait a while, but when we finally sat down to that big country breakfast, my whole family gave praise for my safe trip home. Now, wasn't that a miracle? That was amazing, wasn't it? So that was today's story, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. And our next story will be Surgery by June Davis. I hope you guys are having a great weekend. Let's bring those souls to Jesus, and I hope to see you guys soon with another story. Bye, guys.